Hello guys, welcome back to today's video. So in today's video I'll be teaching you the elasticity of your fabric while working with stretchy fabric, things that you need to know. So I cut this piece of fabric 8 inches in square, so that means we have 8 inches on either side. And you know, when working with a stretchy fabric, one part of the fabric is the most stretchy part. So we're going to get the two parts of this fabric. So this is the method that you need in getting the elasticity of your fabric. So you need the stretch amount. So the stretch amount is from which point of the fabric to the extent that it could get. So this fabric now, I'm going to use one part of it, which is the one that is not too stretchy, to be our A1, and the one that is most stretchy to be A2. So what we're going to do is minus the starting point. This should be minus, is a mistake and I put plus. That should be minus the starting point, which is equals to, is going to give us the fabric strain. So this is how you get the procedure. But before we go further, I'm going to go ahead to take down those measurements. But first of all, we already know that we have 8 on the starting point of this fabric. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead to take my tape. So that depends if you have a tape or a ruler. You can use your ruler or your tape to take this measurement. So I'm going to place my fabric on that point, the start point of my ruler, and I'm going to stretch gently to the point that the fabric couldn't stretch anymore. So what I have there is 10 inches on that part. So I'm going to put the stretch amount to be 10 inches. So me, I'm using inches to calculate for this. So when you minus 10 minus 8, it will give us 2. Still going to go ahead to write this down here, the fabric string. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to use X as the string. So these two now divide by the starting point line, which is 8. I'm going to also write it down here. And I'm going to use P as the starting point. So whatever you have, depending on your own measurement, that's what you're going to put. But for me, what I have is 0.25 times 100. Whatever I have there, which is 25. So this is in percentage. So the fabric string of this is 25 for the not so much stretch part of this fabric. So I'm going to do the same thing, like the same method, the way I did with the A1 is how I'm going to do with A2. I've gone ahead to write down the method that we need. What we need is just the stretchy amount minus the starting point, which is equals to the fabric string. So I've gone ahead to put that 8 inches. So what I did was the same thing. I placed my hand on the starting point of my tape. Like I said, you can use anything. You can even mark a chalk and hold and stretch, and also mark a chalk to hold. So I stretch it to the point that I couldn't stretch anymore. And what I have is 13 and a half. And that 13 and a half is going to be my stretch amount. So the stretch amount minus the starting point line is 15.5. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this 15.5 and I'm going to divide it with my starting point line, which is 8. And whatever I have, I'm going to add it with 100. So what I have for that, I'm going to add it with 100. That will give me my fabric string, which is the amount, the elasticity, the amount of elasticity that my fabric needs. So what I have at the end is 68.7, which I made it approximately 69%. So now this is the amount that you need to reduce when you are working with a stretchy fabric. And since it's a stretchy fabric, the least stretch part will be going on the length, and the most stretch part is going as the width. So now you won't reduce like 25% because the body tends to have more weight. So you just divide the percentage that you have, and whatever you have is going to be what you remove. Like now I've divided the 25 in two places. I can either work with 12 or 10% on that length. Same with the circumference. I'm going to divide whatever percentage, the stretch, the elasticity of this fabric, I'm going to divide it with either 35, or I'm going to work with 30% of the person, because the body tends to carry more weight. So because of that, you reduce half of that stretchy effect. I hope this video is helpful. Bye.